racist provocations are going to lead to violence sooner or later, and that's what he wants. Recently, he issued an executive order that was basically titled Unleash the Police. And last week, his Civil Rights Division in the Department of Justice, led by Harmeet Dillon, did a couple of things. She announced that she is shifting the focus of the Civil Rights Division away from what its focus has been for the last 70 years that made it the crown jewel of the Department of Justice. She is shifting its focus away from discrimination against marginalized communities in the United States, including Black people in the LGBTQ community and women and the disabled, to focusing on discrimination against white Christians in the United States, religious for this one. We have all obviously seen the widespread efforts being undertaken by the Trump administration to rid the United States of brown people in the form of immigrants from south of the border. And I've been waiting to kind of see what sorts of policies this government is going to implement in order to, let's say, reduce the population of Black people in the United States. And today we got a big chunk of that answer. Donald Trump recently appointed a woman named Harmeet Dillon as the attorney in charge of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. I did a video a couple of days ago about how she is reshaping the Civil Rights Division and shifting its focus away from racial discrimination and shifting that department's focus towards ending discrimination against white Christians. I'm not kidding.
I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham Ha Rakah Kodash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which ruled great millstone well, and which taught us the truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, may you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abababal. So the reason they're doing this is because their shame is being revealed, all right? The so-called white race, which they're not white, as you can see in this image, their skin next to the white collar of their shirt, it doesn't blend. All right, they are red. They are the red devil the Bible speaks of, the so-called Caucasian, the Edomite that rules the world, all right? And that's why the world is in the wicked state that it's in, all right? Because the true Messiah, all right, he is described as a so-called black man, all right? Yahushai is described as a so-called black man, and so is the Father, Yahweh. Yahweh is described as a so-called black man, and Yahushai, the Messiah, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, all right, he is pretty much the exact image of his father, Yahweh, so he is described as a so-called black man in the scriptures, all right, which they're not black, they're dark brown. As you can see, that book, the Holy Bible, is so-called black, all right, and the skin that you see in this image is brown. And if you pay attention, all right, to dark-skinned people, they are not black. There's no such thing as a black person. All right, you've never seen someone the color of black. There's different shades of brown and different shades of red. All right. And just so you know, the Father's name is Yahweh. Bahasham means in the name, in Ha, the Sham name. Yahushai is the name of the Son, the Messiah. Yahweh, Yah, He, Hawa, is or exists And that's what he does for us. He allows us to exist, even though these heathen have plans to come up against us to try to destroy us, as it says in Psalm 83. All right, we're not destroyed because Yahweh does not change. He promised the Israelites, all right, a future, and this future is coming to existence in this generation. That's why the earth is going to be made new. All right, it's not literally going to be made new, but the way of life, the manner of life is going to be different. Right now, the manner of life is under Edom, which is wicked. He is the wicked, the so-called white race. But when Yahweh sends his son, Yahweh Shai, with the host of heaven, which the host is already here, look up UFO sightings in America, or where is the most UFO sightings in the world? It's America. And that's because the host of heaven is here. All right, we're just waiting for certain prophecies to be fulfilled, like the implantable microchip being made mandatory for buying and selling. And then Yahweh will send Yahweh Shai back to deliver us with the host of heaven. But once again, these angels are already here. If you look up, the most UFO sightings, you can see it's over America, Babylon the Great, who are to be destroyed. All right. And why is it going to be destroyed? He's going to avenge us, the hopeful elect. All right. He's going to deliver us and avenge us. It says in Revelation 18 and verse 20, rejoice over her, over the destruction of Babylon the Great. Thou heaven and ye holy apostles and prophets of Israel, for Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha-Rakah-Kodash hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all, which is talking about America, and it's going to lose World War III and be destroyed with nuclear missiles. It tells you in 1 hour, it says, yep, right here. So verse 9, it says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, because it's going to be devoured by nuclear missiles. Standing afar off, it says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, because they're going to suffer that nuclear destruction. The earthquake that takes place is going to be worldwide, saying, Allah's, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, America, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. See? So in 1 hour is America going to be destroyed. And why? Because they fought against the Lord's elect. All right. Edom already been told they should just bless us. But because of the hardness of their heart, which is all part of prophecy, all right, they want to try to destroy us. All right. It says in Zechariah 14 and 12, and this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. All right. Why do you think he came up with this idea, the Edomites? It's not literally Trump's idea. It's Esau's idea, though. Right. It says here, Trump's Golden Dome timeline, right? For them to have this defense against, he said, even hyperballistic missiles, right? This Golden Dome, why do you think they're doing this? Because the nuclear destruction that's prophesied in the Holy Scriptures, just like these elite are making bunkers because of the prophecies. Why do you think that they're making executive orders to come after the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian? Because everything we've been saying according to the Scripture is true. Even that we are the biblical Hebrew Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which have been scattered throughout the world in slavery. All right, and this is why they're persecuting us. Shalom to the hopeful elect. And, that word shalom means God's peace. Yahweh's peace be upon you, and that you endure unto the end. Whether you live or die, may your faith stay with you. Now I'm just going to get Psalm 55 and verse, let me see, 22. It says in Psalm 55 verse 22, let's see. I'll start at 16. All right, it says, as for me, I will call upon power, and Yahweh shall save me. Which this is a psalm of King David. All right, and that word power there is Elohim. Al, which it goes to God. All right, the power. Okay. It says concerning, in regard to, in reference to, on account of, according to, rule or standard, at, by, against, of one's presence, in between, in, with, to, within, unto, idea of motion, which the elect are being moved by the Holy Spirit. All right. So it says, as for me, I will call upon Al, which once again, let me go a little deeper on that. It says, Al, and then upon El, Elohim. All right. Allah, Elohim. All right. So as for me, I will call upon Elohim, and Yahweh shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. And we're supposed to be pretty much sighing and crying and prophesying day and night. He had delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, which the wicked are rising up against us, especially them that hate us, the wicked, the so-called Caucasians in the other nations. For there were many with me. It says, power shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old. Selah, meditate on this. The Lord, he's going to avenge us. He's going to protect us. All right. Who could bring a charge against his elect? Because they have no changes. Therefore, they fear not Yahweh or Yahweh Shai or the Elohim. All right. Because they're able to succeed in doing all this wickedness. These heathen think that they could do whatever the fuck they want. Well, they're wrong. All right. It says in verse 20, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant, which they made covenants with the Israelites many times and they broke them. Right? These peace treaties where, they stole our land, but we could ask for citizenship. Right? And they, the story. Every fucking covenant they made with the so-called Negroes, 40 acres in the mule, Latinos, right? The immigration, even though they stole the land from them, the Native American Indians, right? How many peace treaties did they break with them? See? So these devils are not to be trusted. The so-called white race, they're about to make an implantable microchip mandatory for buying and selling. All right, do not take it. Do not trust thy enemy. All right, as iron rusteth, so does the wickedness of the Edomite to us. If you take it, you're going to be destroyed with it. It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, right? You see Trump, the big, beautiful deal. He has Jake thinking that they're included. You see it on the internet. You got Trump supporting Negroes, Trump supporting Latinos, right? So they're fools because they've been taken by the smooth words of this man, and he is wicked. He breaks his covenants, but war was in his heart. See, he's talking to you about peace. We're trying to make America better again. We're trying to make it safer for us, for everyone. Or like the South African thing, right? He says, I don't care if they're white, black, brown, whatever. These white people are being, murdered in South Africa. And then everybody's putting up videos that it's the so-called white race that murdered the so-called South Africans. All right? So this devil, the so-called white man, war is in his heart, all right? His words were softer than oil, which he acts like a lamb, yet were they drawn swords, which that's what they have is in their hands, swords, though they're talking peaceful words to you. That's why it says in Thessalonians, they shall say peace and safety and then sudden destruction. It says in verse 22, cast thy burden upon Yahweh, because Yahweh is in control of this devil, and he shall sustain thee. He'll make sure that devil, ain't able to accomplish his evil thoughts against you. And he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. But thou, O Elohim, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction, because we're irritating him with these scriptures. And it's like, if you ever watch the movie Rampage, in that movie, the devil shows these 5G sirens that irritate the wolf and the gorilla. And that's why it's called Rampage, because they're on a rampage to destroy the devices of the wicked. All right? And this is what's going to happen to Esau. All right? He's going to be driven by hearing these scriptures. It's driving him mad. It's literally, there's no peace for the wicked, saith my power. All right, why? Because he's hearing us call each other into the name of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, and teaching each other to be upright according to Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. So just like Pharaoh chased the Israelites with his army, all right, Esau, which is the Pharaoh of this spiritual Egypt, is going to pursue the Israelites to try to slaughter us and to pretty much so that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. And he's the one that's actually going to be made extinct. All right. It says, but thou, O Elohim, which are the elect, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. They're going to come against us and find themselves destroyed, just like I read in Revelation. The Lord's going to avenge us. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, and the Lord's going to shorten these days for the elect's sake. But I will trust in thee. And we have a sure word of prophecy. We have a sure word of prophecy, and that's why these devils are panicking, scrambling, right? Trying to unite the world, building bunkers, right? And a lot of this shit is just lies, just straight up lies. The things they put out, like them time traveling, that's a goddamn lie. See, why are they doing that? Because they're afraid. All right, they're afraid of what they're about to receive, just like Cain. What did Cain say? Everyone that find me will slay me. And that's what's about to happen to Esau. Esau is about to be the prey of every nation for 1,000 years and then be made extinct, as every nation is going to be under the Israelites in slavery. But there's always a bitch, when you go to the prison or, where it's, or even in the wilderness, there's the stronger, there's a pecking order where the stronger rules over the wicked, while the weaker, the wicked, all right? And that's Esau. And the stronger is Jacob. and we're gonna have every nation over you. You're the bottom of the barrel, and you're gonna go back to that place of being the bottom of all nations, and shit goes downhill. So it's gonna be real bad for you. Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure until the end. Shalom wa abal babal.